How are you guys doing? Today is Saturday, August 28th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Friday, August 27th. The majority of them, at least in the United States, took place in the MLB, and there was some soccer that went on. Of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Starting in the MLB, jumping to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the St. Louis Cardinals from within their division. The Cardinals would end up beating the Pirates 4-3. They would score 3 of their 4 runs in the 5th inning, thanks to a 2-run home run from Tommy Edman to increase the Cardinals' lead from 1-3 within that inning. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in this matchup, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Dylan Peters. Dylan Peters would go on to allow 3 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game. He struck out 4. With this loss, Dylan Peters is 0-2 on the season. And in the Pirates batting lineup, their catcher, Jacob Stallings, went 3 for 4 with a run. He was the only player with more than 1 hit. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and win went to J.A. Happ. He allowed 2 earned runs on 3 hits and 5.2 innings pitched. He struck out 4. With this win, he is now 8-6 on the season. The save was given to the Cardinals closer, Alex Reyes. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. With this save, he now has 29 saves on the year. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, went 3 for 4 for the day as he was the only player on the Cardinals with more than 1 hit. He would go on to hit his second triple of the season. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 65-62. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games. They trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 12 games in the division, and they trail the Cincinnati Reds for that second National League wildcard spot by 4.5 games. They are the second team on the outside looking in on the National League side as they only trail the San Diego Padres. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 47-82. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They also have the second worst record in the entire National League. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 31 games in the division. Jumping out to Baltimore, the league's worst team, the Baltimore Orioles, went on to host the Tampa Bay Rays, who have the best record in the American League. The Rays would beat the Orioles 6-3 after 2 separate innings in which they would score 3 runs. In the first inning, Yandy Diaz and Manuel Margot, their RBI singles would bring home 3. And then in the 7th inning, it will be a 3-run home run from Mike Zunino, their all-star. For the Baltimore Orioles, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey would allow 3 earned runs in the first 6 innings of the game as he only allowed 4 hits in that span. He would strike out 4 batters, and with this loss, Matt Harvey is 6-14 on the season. In the Orioles batting lineup, their all-star center fielder, Cedric Mullins, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 23rd home run of the season. Their left fielder, Austin Hayes, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 14th home run of the season. Their shortstop, Ramon Urias, went 2 for 3 on the day. And for the Tampa Bay Rays, the win went to their starting pitcher, Shane McClanahan. McClanahan allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The save was given to the Rays closer for the day, their only relief pitcher, Chris Mazza. Mazza would pitch the last 3 innings of the game, allowing only 1 earned run off of 2 hits as he struck out a batter. This would be Mazza's first save of the year, and nobody in the Rays batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, but with Zunino's home run, he went 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. That was his 27th home run, like I said earlier. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 80-48. They are the first team in the American League to cross the 80-win threshold. They've won their last 5 games, and they've won 9 of their last 10. They currently sit 4 games ahead of the second-place New York Yankees in their division, and they are holding on to the number 1 seed in all of the American League, sitting ahead of the Houston Astros out west, who are actually tied with the Yankees, by the way. So they sit 4 games ahead of them. And they also sit ahead of the 3rd seed Chicago White Sox, who are currently leading the Central. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 40-87. That is the worst record in the American League East. That is the worst record in the American League. And win percentage-wise, that is the worst record in all of baseball, just to get a sense of where they sit. Because don't forget, they also had a 19-game winning streak they're still recovering from. They've lost 8 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 39.5 games in the division, just to get a sense of what the gap is in the American League between the best and worst teams in that league. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Phillies were able to pull off a 7-6 win at home. This game would go to extra innings thanks to 2 runs at the top of the inning off of a Christian Walker home run to make the game 4-4. In the top of the 10th, Ketel Marte would hit a 2-run home run to make the game 6-4 in favor of Arizona. Then Brad Miller would hit a 2-run home run at the bottom of the 10th to even it up for Philly. And then in the bottom of the 11th, it would be an RBI single from Jean Segura to give the Phillies their 64th win of the season in a come-from-behind marvel. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the start was given to Taylor Widener. He allowed 2 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 4. The loss for Arizona was given to their final relief pitcher on the day, Taylor Clark. Clark allowed 1 run in .1 inning pitched as he was unable to finish the 11th inning. With this loss, he's 11-1 on the year. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit. Their pinch hitting second baseman Ketel Marte will go 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 8th home run of the season. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start was given to Aaron Nola. Nola allowed 2 earned runs, allowing only 3 hits and 5.1 innings pitched. He was pulled in the 6th after he struck out 7 batters. The win was given to the Philadelphia Phillies closer, Eniel De Los Santos. Eniel De Los Santos allowed 2 runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 1 in the 10th and 11th innings. For the Phillies in this matchup, their second baseman, Jean Segura, went 2 for 6 with an RBI and a run. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 25th home run of the season in the 3rd inning. Their all-star catcher, JT Realmuto, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. And with this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 64-64. That is the second best record in the National League East. They've won 3 of their last 10. And they now trail the Atlanta Braves by 5.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 44-86. That is the worst record in the National League West as they've lost 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 40 games in the division, as that is the difference between the best and worst teams in the National League at the moment. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Boston Red Sox, and the Red Sox were able to beat the Indians 4-3. After the Indians were leading 3-1 going into the top of the 8th, but then it would be Jonathan Arauz's first home run of the season, a 3-run homer that would give the Red Sox their 74th win of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start was given to Logan Allen. Logan Allen would allow 1 earned run and only 1 hit in the first 6 innings of the game as he struck out 5. The loss was given to the Indians' second relief pitcher, James Karinchak. He allowed 3 earned runs without registering a single out in the 8th inning. This will be his 5th blown save of the season, and with this loss, he's now 7-4. In the Indians batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 30th home run of the season. And then their right fielder, Bradley Zimmer, went 2 for 4. For the Boston Red Sox, on the other hand, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez. He allowed 3 earned runs in the first 7 innings of the game as he struck out 2. With his win, Rodriguez is 10-7 on the year. The save was given to the Red Sox closer, Adam Ottavino. Ottavino would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he allowed no hits either. He struck out 2 batters and walked 1. With this with the save, Ottavino now has 9 on the year. In the Red Sox batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, but like I said, their second baseman Jonathan Arauz would go on to go 1-for-2 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his first home run of the year. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 74-56. That is the third best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 7 games in the division, and they are holding on to the second American League wildcard spot. They sit 3 games behind the Yankees, who are holding on to the first spot, and they are sitting 3.5 games ahead of the Oakland Athletics, who are at the moment the first team on the outside of the wild card looking in. With this loss, the Cleveland Indians are now 63-63. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they've lost 4 of their last 10. And at the moment, they trail the Chicago White Sox by 10 games in the division. Jumping out to Queens, the New York Mets hosted the Washington Nationals. The Nats would beat the Mets 2-1. They scored both of their runs in the third inning. Juan Soto would ground out to bring a run home, and then Josh Bell's RBI single would bring the other run home. For the New York Mets, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Rich Hill. He allowed 2 earned runs and 5 hits in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 8. With this loss, Rich Hill is 6-6 on the year. In the Mets batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, and that can be attributed to great pitching from the Nats. But in their lineup, their elite second baseman Javier Baez went 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Baez hit his 25th home run of the season. For the Washington Nationals, the win went to their starting pitcher, Paolo Espino. Espino allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's now 4-4 on the year, as the save went to the Nats closer, Kyle Finnegan. Finnegan allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning. With this save, he now has 6. In the Nationals batting lineup, their shortstop Alcides Escobar went 2-for-4 on the day. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. And with this win, the Washington Nationals are now 55-72. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've won 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 14 games in the division. With this loss, the New York Mets are now 61-67. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They've lost their last 4 games and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 8.5 games in the division, just to get a sense of where they sit. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, fighting for playoff positioning, fell just short of the Tigers as this game was tied at 1 going into the bottom of the 8th until Victor Reyes hit his 4th home run of the season, an inside the park home run to give the Tigers the lead to run away with their 62nd win of the season. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start went to Steven Matz. He allowed 1 earned run and 4 hits in the first 6 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The loss was given to the Blue Jays closer for the day, Tim Mayza. Tim Mayza allowed 1 run in the 8th inning as he struck out 1. With this loss, he's now 4-2 on the year. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, the only player with a multi-hit game was their elite first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He went 2-for-4 with an RBI. For the Detroit Tigers, the start was given to Matt Manning. Matt Manning allowed 1 earned run, and he allowed 6 hits in the first 6 innings of the game as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Tigers' second relief pitcher, Jose Cisnero. Cisnero allowed no earned runs in the 8th inning as he walked a batter. With this win, he's now 3-4 on the season, and the save went to the Tigers' closer, their all-star closer, Gregory Soto. Soto allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. This was his 16th save of the season. And with this win, the Detroit Tigers, in their batting lineup, their first baseman, Jonathan Scope, went 2-for-4. Their third baseman, Jeimer Candelario, went 2-for-4 with the run. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 62-67. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10, and they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 12.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 66-61. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Tampa Bay They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 13.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Miami, the Marlins hosted the Cincinnati Reds, who are holding on to that second wild card spot in the American League. or in the National League, I'm sorry, and the Reds were able to beat the Marlins 6-0. Big courtesy to their 4-run fourth inning for the Miami Marlins, who were shut out in this matchup. The start and the loss were given to Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson allowed 5 runs in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 1 batter. With this loss, Zach Thompson is 2-6 on the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, and that, like I said, that can be attributed to great pitching from Cincinnati. For the Reds, the start and win went to Wade Miley. He allowed no earned runs and allowed 6 hits in the first 7 innings of the game as he struck out 5. With this win, Wade Miley is 11-4 on the season, and in the Reds batting lineup, their center fielder Tyler Naquin went 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 19th home run of the year. Their third baseman Mike Moustakas went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 6th home run of the year. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 71-59. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They trailed the Milwaukee Brewers by 7.5 games in the division, and they're holding on to that second National League wildcard spot, sitting 10.5 games behind the first place LA Dodgers, and they sit 2 games ahead of the San Diego Padres, who are at the moment the first team on the outside of the wild card picture looking in. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 53-76. That is the worst record in the National League East and the third worst record in the National League. They've lost 8 of their last 10, and they now trail the Atlanta Braves by 17 games in the division. Jumping out to Atlanta, speak of the devil, the Braves hosted the San Francisco Giants, the holders of the best record in baseball. The Braves would beat the Giants 6-5, courtesy of a 4-run 7th inning, where one of their runs would come from a double from Ozzie Albies, and then they would get a 3-run home run from Jorge Soler that would put them in the lead and put them in a lead that was big enough for them to run away with the win. For the San Francisco Giants, the start went to former Atlanta Braves starting pitcher Kevin Gausman. He allowed 6 earned runs and allowed 6 hits in the first 6 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The loss would go to the Giants' first relief pitcher on the day, Tony Watson. He allowed 3 earned runs in the top of the 7th inning as he struck out 1 as he would not finish. He pitched .1 inning. With this loss, he's now 5-4 on the season, and in the Giants batting lineup, their first baseman, Wilmer Flores, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Additionally, their second baseman, Tommy Lacello, went 2-for-4 with an RBI. Wilmer Flores hit his 16th home run of the season, going back to what he did. For the Atlanta Braves, the start went to Max Fried. Fried allowed 4 runs in the first 6 innings of the game. He struck out 5. The win was given to the Braves' first relief pitcher, A.J. Minter. He allowed no earned runs in the 7th inning as he walked 1 batter. With this win, A.J. Minter is 2-4 on the season. The save would go to the Braves closer, Will Smith. Will Smith allowed 1 earned run in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. With this save, Will Smith now has 29 in the season, as Will Smith is a former San Francisco Giants closer. In the Braves batting lineup, their right fielder, Jorge Soler, would go 3-for-4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 19th home run of the season. Their third baseman, Austin Riley, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI as well. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 69-58. That is the best record in the National League East. They've won 8 of their last 10, and they now sit 5.5 games ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies in their division. They are holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture, trailing the San Francisco Giants, who are leading the West, who are holding on to the 1 seed, and they are also trailing the 2nd seed Milwaukee Brewers, who are controlling the Central. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 83-45. That is the best record in all of baseball still, as they've lost 3 of their last 10 games. They sit 2.5 games ahead of the second place defending World Series champs LA Dodgers in their division, and they're still holding on to the number 1 seed in the National League, sitting ahead of the 2nd seed Milwaukee Brewers of the Central and the 3rd seed Atlanta Braves of the East. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Houston Astros in this intrastate matchup, and the Astros would end up beating the Rangers 5-4 on the road. The Rangers would score all 4 of their runs between the fourth and sixth inning and jumped out to a 4-0 lead, and then the Astros would score all 5 of their runs in the 7th inning in order to take the lead and eventually the win. Michael Brantley would tie the game up on a 2-run single before Yuli Gurriel's ground out would bring a run home, the winning run home. For the Texas Rangers in this matchup, the start was given to Glenn Otto. He pitched the first 5 innings of the game as he allowed no earned runs and only 2 hits. He struck out 7 in that span. The loss would go to the Rangers' second relief pitcher, Brett Martin, as Brett Martin allowed 3 earned runs in the 7th inning. With this will be his second blown save of the season, and with this loss, he's now 3-4 on the year. In the Rangers batting lineup, their shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa went 2 for 5. Their third baseman Andy Ibanez went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 6th home run of the year. Their right fielder Adolis Garcia went 2 for 5. Their second baseman Nick Solak went 2 for 3 with a run. And then their left fielder Jason Martin would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. The team would end up hitting 13 hits on the game as they fell just short. For the Houston Astros in this matchup, the start went to Jake Odorizzi. He allowed 2 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Astros' first relief pitcher on the day, Phil Maton. Phil Maton. Phil Maton allowed 2 earned runs in the 6th inning as he struck out 2 batters, and with this win, he's now 3-0 on the year. The save was given to the Astros closer, Ryan Presley. Presley allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he was unable to strike out a batter, and he allowed 2 hits. But regardless, this will be his 20th save of the year. In the Astros batting lineup, their left fielder Michael Brantley went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, their all-star left fielder. And he was the only player with a multi-hit game. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 76-52. That is the best record in the American League West. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. At the moment, they sit 6.5 games ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics in their division. They're holding on to the 2nd seed in the American League playoff picture as they trail the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays from the East, and they still sit ahead of the Chicago White Sox, who are sitting on top of the Central in that 3rd seed. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 44-84. That is the worst record in the American League West and the 2nd worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10, and at the moment, they trail the Houston Astros by 32 games in the division. Jumping out to Chicago in this inter-Chicago matchup, the Chicago White Sox would beat the Chicago Cubs 17-13 in a 9-inning game in which the home team didn't even hit in the bottom of the 9th because they were the home team. The White Sox would end up scoring 8 runs in the 3rd, and the Cubs' highest scoring inning was the 1st, as they scored 6, and they wouldn't score their 7th run until the 7th inning. Within all this chaos, for the Chicago Cubs, the start was given to Keegan Thompson. Keegan Thompson allowed 5 runs in the first 2 innings of the game as he struck out a batter. The loss was given to the Cubs' first relief pitcher, Adrian Sampson. Sampson allowed 4 runs in the 3rd inning as he walked a batter as well. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the year. In the Cubs batting lineup, their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their third baseman, Patrick Wisdom, went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 22nd and 23rd home runs of the year. Their left fielder, Ian Happ, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 16th home run of the year. And then their right fielder, Jason Hayward, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. For the Chicago White Sox, the start was given to their elite starting pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel allowed 6 runs in the first inning of the game as he struck out 1. The win was given to the White Sox first relief pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez. Lopez allowed no earned runs in the next 5 innings. He pitched the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings for Chicago. He would strike out 7 batters in that span as he allowed no runs and no hits in that span either. With this win, he's now 3-1 on the season. And in the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, went 2 for 4 with 3 runs. Their center fielder, Luis Robert, went 3 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their elite first baseman and reigning American League MVP, Jose Abreu, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs on the day. Their catcher, Yasmani Grandal, went 4 for 6 with 8 RBIs and 2 runs. Yasmani Grandal would end up with 16 home runs on the season. Yasmani Grandal would end up hitting a 30-run home run in the bottom of the third. And then Yasmani Grandal would hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the eighth, just to get a sense of what his home runs were looking like. And with this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 75-55. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They sit 10 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in their division, and they are holding on to that 3rd seed in the American League playoff picture, trailing the Tampa Bay Rays leading out east, and they are also trailing the Houston Astros, who are holding that 2nd seed, who are leading out from the west. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 56-74. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. At the moment, they trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 22.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Minnesota, in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Milwaukee Brewers. The Twins would beat the Brewers 2-0 off of their 2-run outing in the first inning, off of a 2-run home run from former American League MVP Josh Donaldson, his 20th of the year. For the Milwaukee Brewers, who were completely shut out, the start and loss would go to Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's 4-5 on the season. In the Brewers' batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their second baseman, Colton Wong, who went 2 for 4. For the Minnesota Twins, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Andrew Albers. Albers allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this win, Albers is 1-0 on the year. The save was given to Alex Colome, the Twins' closer, as Colome allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, striking out 2 batters, picking up his 8th save of the season. In the Twins' batting lineup, their right fielder Max Kepler went 2 for 3, and their shortstop Andrelton Simmons went 2 for 3 as well. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 56-72. That is the worst record in the American League Central, and that is the 3rd worst record in the American League. They've won 4 of their last 10 games, and they trail the Chicago White Sox by 18 games in the division. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 78-51. That is the best record in the National League Central, as they've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They currently sit 7.5 games ahead of the second-place Cincinnati Reds in their division, and they are holding on to that 2nd seed in the National League playoff picture, as they only trail the San Francisco Giants out west, who are holding on to the 1 seed, and they also sit ahead of the Atlanta Braves, who are holding on to that 3 seed, leading the National League East. Jumping out to Anaheim, the LA Angels hosted the San Diego Padres from within SoCal. The Padres would beat the Angels 5-0 after holding the Angels to only 3 hits all game. For the Los Angeles Angels, the loss would go to their starting pitcher, Cooper Criswell. Cooper Criswell allowed 3 earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched, and with this loss, he's 0-1 on the season. In the Angels batting lineup, their 3rd baseman, Phil Gosselin, went 2 for 4. He was the only player on the day with more than 1 hit. For San Diego, these complete games, start and win, went to Joe Musgrove. He allowed no earned runs and only 3 hits in all 9 innings pitched, as he walked 2 and struck out 9 batters. With this win, Joe Musgrove is 9-8 on the season. In the Padres batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Fernando Tatis, went 2 for 5. Their elite designated hitter, Manny Machado, went 2 for 5 with a run. And with this win, the San Diego Padres are now 69-61. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've won 2 of their last 10 games, as they trail the San Francisco Giants by 15 games in the division. And they are right now trailing the Cincinnati Reds for that 2nd National League wildcard spot by 2 games, as the Padres are the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 63-67. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They trail the Houston Astros by 14 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Oakland, the Oakland Athletics hosted the New York Yankees, and both these teams fighting for wild card positioning were able to duke it out. The Yankees were able to beat the Athletics 8-2 in this one, as Garrett Cole picked up win number 13. For the Oakland Athletics, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Sean Manaea. Manaea allowed 5 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he was pulled in the 5th. He would strike out 5 in that span. And with this loss, he is now 8-9 on the season. In the A's batting lineup, their left fielder, Tony Kemp, went 2 for 3. Then their center fielder, Starling Marte, went 2 for 5 with a run. For the New York Yankees, the start and win went to their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. He allowed no earned runs and 6 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9 on the day. With this win, Garrett Cole is 13-6 on the year. And in the Yankees batting lineup, their elite second baseman, DJ LeMahieu, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, went 2 for 5. Their elite center fielder, Aaron Judge, went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. Aaron Judge hit his 28th home run of the season. Their elite right fielder, Giancarlo Stanton, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 24th home run of the season. And then their catcher, Kyle Higashioka, will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 9th home run of the season for New York. With this win, the Yankees are now 76-52. That is the second best record in the American League East. They've won their last 13 games. That is the best winning streak in the major leagues at the moment. The second best winning streak in the American League is a 5-game winning streak from within their division, the Tampa Bay Rays, which is why they haven't caught up with the Rays at the moment. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 4 games at the moment in their division, as they are the sole holders of the number 1 American League wildcard spot, sitting 3 games ahead of the second-place Boston Red Sox. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 70-59. That is the second-best record in the American League West. They have now lost their last 6 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They trail the Houston Astros by 6.5 games in the division, as they are the first team on the outside of the American League wildcard picture looking in. They sit 3.5 games behind the Boston Red Sox. Jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the reigning World Series champs, LA Dodgers hosted the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies would beat the Dodgers 4-2. The score was tied at 2 until the top of the 6th, where the Rockies would take the lead off of a solo home run from C.J. Cron, and then it would be a solo home run at the top of the 9th from Elias Diaz to give the Rockies the 4-2 win, their 59th of the year. For the defending champs, LA Dodgers, the start was given to Brusdar Graterol. Graterol allowed 2 earned runs in the first inning pitch as he struck out 2. The loss was given to the Dodgers' first relief pitcher. This would be Andre Jackson. Andre Jackson pitched 4.2 innings. He would eventually get pulled in the 6th inning as he allowed 1 earned run in that span, allowing 4 hits in 4.2 innings as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Will Smith. He went 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run. For the Colorado Rockies, the win went to their starting pitcher, Kyle Freeland. Freeland allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, Kyle Freeland is 5-6 on the year, and the save was given to the Rockies closer, Carlos Estevez. Estevez allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the outs he got were strikeouts. This would be his 3rd save of the season. And in the Rockies batting lineup, their catcher, Elias Diaz, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He was the only player in the lineup with more than 1 hit. Additionally, their elite right fielder, Charlie Blackmon, went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 59-69. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. At the moment, they trail the San Francisco Giants by 24 games in the division. With this loss, the LA Dodgers are now 81-48. That is the 2nd best record in the National League West. They've only lost 2 of their last 10 games, and they trail the San Francisco Giants by 2.5 games in the division. They are the sole holders of the number 1 spot in the National League wild card race. They sit 10.5 games ahead of the second-place Cincinnati Reds in that race. Last but not least, jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Kansas City Royals. And in this matchup that would go all the way to the 12th, the Royals would beat the Mariners 8-7 after outscoring the Mariners 3-2 in extra innings. For the Seattle Mariners, the start was given to Logan Gilbert. He allowed 5 earned runs in the first 4 innings of the game as he struck out 5. The loss was given to the Mariners closer, Yohan Ramirez. Ramirez allowed 2 runs in the 12th inning and as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-2 on the year. And in the Mariners batting lineup, their shortstop, J.P. Crawford, went 2 for 6 with 2 runs. Their right fielder, Mitch Haniger, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Ty France, went 2 for 6 with 2 runs. Their second baseman, Abraham Toro, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And for the Kansas City Royals in this matchup, the start was given to Kris Bubic. Bubic allowed 5 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The win was given to the Royals closer, Josh Staumont. Staumont allowed 1 run in 1.1 innings pitched. He would finish the 11th and 12th innings as he struck out 2 batters. With this win, he's 3-2 on the season. And in the Royals batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Whit Merrifield, went 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, Nicky Lopez, went 3 for 6 with an RBI and a run. Their elite catcher, Salvador Perez, went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 36th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Ryan O'Hearn, would go 3 for 4 with a run. And then last but not least, their third baseman, Emmanuel Rivera, would end up going 2 for 5. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 58-70. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 16 games in the division. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 69-60. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They trail the Houston Astros by 7.5 games in the division. And right now, they trail the Boston Red Sox for that second wildcard spot by 4.5 games. The Mariners are the second team on the outside looking in the American League as they only trail the Oakland Athletics in that respect. That is what the major leagues, or that is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups. Looking forward to what's going on today. Today is Saturday, so of course with the teams having done their traveling yesterday, looking at what's going on today at 4:05 on FS1, Cal Quantrill and the Cleveland Indians are going to host Nate Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox. Eovaldi enters this matchup with a 10-8 record, holding a 3.72 ERA. Cal Quantrill enters this matchup holding a 4-2 record and a 3.04 ERA. At 4:07, Nestor Cortes Jr. and the New York Yankees are going to host Frankie Montas and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Nestor Cortes Jr. and the New York Yankees, as both of these teams are fighting for playoff positioning. Frankie Montas enters this matchup with a 9-9 record, holding a 3.84 ERA. At 4:10, Tyler Anderson and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Daniel Lynch and the Kansas City Royals. At 6:05, Kyle Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host Humberto Mejia and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kyle Gibson enters his matchup with a 3-2 record, holding a 3.77 ERA. At 6:10, Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins are going to host Vladimir Gutierrez and the Cincinnati Reds. Vladimir Gutierrez enters this matchup with a 9-4 record, holding a 3.68 ERA. Sandy Alcantara takes his home mound with a 7-12 record, holding a 3.35 ERA. At the same time, at 6:10, Jose Urena and the Detroit Tigers are going to host Alek Manoah and the Toronto Blue Jays. Manoah enters his matchup with a 5-2 record, holding a 3.18 ERA. At 7:05, Colby Allard and the Texas Rangers are going to host Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros. Valdez enters this matchup with an 8-4 record, holding a 2.94 ERA. At the same time, at 7:05, Stephen Brault and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Adam Wainwright and the St. Louis Cardinals. Adam Wainwright enters his matchup with a 12-7 record, holding a 3.10 ERA. At the same time, at 7:05, John Means and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Michael Wacha and the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays. John Means takes his home mound with a 5-6 record, holding a 3.50 ERA. At 7:10, Lance Lynn and the Chicago White Sox are going to host Alec Mills and the Chicago Cubs at Guaranteed Rate Field within Chicago. Lance Lynn comes into this matchup holding a 10-3 record and a 2.20 ERA. At the same time, at 7:10, Charlie Barnes and the Minnesota Twins are going to host Adrian Hauser and the Milwaukee Brewers. Hauser comes into this matchup holding a 7-5 record and a 3.44 ERA. At the same time, at 7:10, Marcus Stroman and the New York Mets are going to host Sean Nolan and the Washington Nationals. Stroman enters his matchup at home with a 9-12 record, holding a 2.85 ERA. At 7:20, Huascar Ynoa and the Atlanta Braves are going to host the National League leading and the Major League leading San Francisco Giants, led by Logan Webb. Logan Webb enters Atlanta with a 7-3 record, holding a 2.84 ERA. Huascar Ynoa takes his home mound against the best team in baseball, holding a 4-3 record alongside a 2.89 ERA. At 9:07 on FS1, Jose Suarez and the Los Angeles Angels are going to host Ryan Weathers and the San Diego Padres. And last but not least, at 9:10, the defending World Series champs LA Dodgers, led by former American League Cy Young winner David Price, are going to host John Gray and the Colorado Rockies. David Price enters his matchup with a 4-2 record, holding a 3.82 ERA, and that is what the MLB is looking like as of right now. Taking a glance of what soccer is looking like as we leave our continent. A couple games going on in Spanish La Liga. Mallorca was able to beat Espanyol 1-0, and then Valencia was able to beat Alaves 3-0. Looking at La Liga, Valencia and Mallorca are now holding on to the top of the league as they now have 7 points because they've played 3 matches simply. And the Bundesliga, the only big game from yesterday, Borussia Dortmund was able to beat Hoffenheim at home. They would get their first goal in the 49th minute from their American forward Gio Reyna. Hoffenheim would even it up in the 61st minute from Baumgartner. Then Dortmund would reply with their second goal of the game from young English forward Jude Bellingham. Hoffenheim would respond with a 90th minute goal from Dabur to even it up at 2, and then it would be a 91st minute goal from Dortmund's elite Norwegian striker Erling Haaland to give Dortmund a 3-2 win. And as of right now, with this win, Dortmund sits atop of the Bundesliga table with 6 points alongside Wolfsburg. The difference is they played one more game than Wolfsburg, so Wolfsburg has a chance to overtake them in the up and coming days. In Ligue 1, Lyon was able to beat Nantes 1-0 as Lyon has now picked up their first win of the season in their first 4 matchups. So that's virtually everything that went on from yesterday as we transition to what's going on today in the world of soccer. Starting off at 7:30, Manchester City, after losing their first matchup of the Premier League, is going to face off against Arsenal to try to get another run at the top of the table at the moment. And if they were able to get a win, they could probably temporarily sit at the top of the table. The other teams that are going to play the other big matchup today is going to be at 12:30 as Liverpool takes on Chelsea. Liverpool won their first 2 matchups, so a win here can sit them on top of the table. And you could say the same about Chelsea. They won their first 2 matchups, so a win here could cement either one on top of the table. So this is a top match. And of course, even if they draw, they're still they're still 2 of the top teams in the Premier League, regardless on points. Looking at what's going on in La Liga, the only big matchup in La Liga is taking place at 4 as Real Betis faces off against Real Madrid. Real Madrid enters this matchup having won and drawn their first 2 matchups. A win here can tie them with Valencia and Mallorca at the top of the table temporarily for now. And if Sevilla were able to beat Elche, Sevilla would actually be able to take the top of the table over Real Madrid. In the German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich is going to host Hertha Berlin. With a win here, Bayern Munich hopes to jump to the top of the table. Because Wolfsburg isn't playing today, they could temporarily take the top at the moment. Jumping out to what's going on in Italian Serie A, Juventus is going to host Empoli coming into this matchup. Juventus They drew their first matchup, so a win here could actually do a lot for them. And that's virtually everything going on for soccer as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Once again, I'm James Sims, and I want to thank everyone for listening to all 42 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and I can't wait to get back with you tomorrow on Sunday, August 29th, once all of today's matchups and performances are done. But this is also the last Saturday for a long time without college football. And as college football gets into this week, this Thursday, I'm going to navigate everyone through that. And with that said, I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. And thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.